So I'm Corey. I am a graduate from the apprenticeship program. It was, how long has it been now? I think it's been about 4 years, over 4 years now that since I've graduated. And it's been amazing. I love the program. Jane, Val, everyone in it. It has really changed my life. I am a son, and I'm also a grandson of residential school survivors. Um, I was taken away from my reserve by my mother because I caught beaver fever, which is basically like a water poisoning, and I almost died. Also, the environment with drugs and alcohol. My mother was like, you know what, we need to get out of here. So she took me, and we kind of moved around, getting away from the environment. So this was in Fort Providence, Northwest Territories. And so we moved around a lot. And as I grew up older, I wasn't really in my community. I wasn't really familiar with, generational traumas. But ironically, it did affect me, over time of not, being surrounded by my culture, constantly having racism towards me, like getting pulled over by cops, people beating me up. Like at the time, none of this was in the highlight, and there was no, people like to say there's a privilege now and opportunities. And back then it was not. It was very much like you'd be walking down the street and you were a target of a hate crime. And I just thought wrong place, wrong time. But then as things started to come to light, I realized I was like, oh, there's a pattern here. Like this wasn't just a random person going there and randomly being targeted. These were hate crimes, and at the time I didn't know. So eventually, with the generational trauma and the racism and the lack of opportunities and growing up in poverty, and it basically added up, which I succumbed to my demons. So I started, self-medicating with drugs and alcohol, hanging around the rough crowds. I could easily be in jail right now. And my mom kind of always steered me in the right direction. So eventually, I met my wife, who was a girlfriend at the time, and we found out we were expecting. So here I am, excited, but then I realized I was like, am I father material? I didn't really have a father figure in my life. That was my Indigenous father, and he's drinking, and we don't really have a relationship. I've talked to him maybe 3 times in my life. And I was like, am I going to be worthy of this beautiful baby that is coming there? So it really made me reflect. And then I got worse into drugs and alcohol, ironically, right? Like, oh, that's going to help everything. So my son got here, and it was like a lightning bolt hit me in the face. And it was like, smart enough. This right here, this beautiful boy, his name's River, changed my life. He's now 4 years old. And so I was like, okay, I got to make changes. I'm going to be a better man. I'm going to stop the generational trauma with me. He deserves better. So I did. So I stopped drinking, to stop doing drugs. And then I was like, but the lack of education, lack of opportunities, I was like, what am I going to do? Right now I'm doing construction. I'm working long times. I'm not getting paid very well. I'm full of dirt, like I don't want my son seeing me. This is how I'm providing for my family. So I went to an opportunity. It was like a hydro program. And I was like, oh, nice. Like, I'm going to do this hydro program. But it turns out, I rocked it. I did good. I helped other people. I was terrified of heights, so I'm climbing up poles and I'm scared. And so while I'm doing this hydro program, someone's like, hey, you're kind of smart, eh? And I was like, oh, I like to think so. Thank you. Yeah. And he's like, there's this computer thing. You should, apply. I was like, okay, whatever. So I did. I'm glad I did. So because this was the apprenticeship program. So anyways, to make a long story short, the hydro thing was like, okay, you are amazing. You're top of your class. You helped other people. So now you're going to start working all over Canada and you're going to make it awesome. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, what about like work-life family balance? And he's like, none. He's like, all guys mostly are divorced. Don't really see your kids. You'll make a lot of money. You'll do very well, but no family life. And I was like, thank you very much for this opportunity, but I can't. So here I am, no job. I worked, my butt off in this little course, and I was like, wow, here I am back where I started. What do I do? So all of a sudden I get an email being like, hey, we'd like to do an interview for the program. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do this. So I did the interview and they're like, yeah, this is a good job, good opportunities, good work-life balance. You don't have to leave your community. It sounded great. It sounded like a dream. So I was like, yes, please sign me up. So we're like, okay, we're going to find you a position. We're going to match you in this spot and away we go. So I finally had it. And the starting wage was great. And felt good. Felt good, wearing a suit, felt good working from home. I was able to, during my lunches, I was able to go see my family and the kids, and it was wonderful. And then one of the things in the program that I really like to highlight is the sharing circle. So what that is, every week we do basically an hour where all the apprentices go into this group and we openly talk and basically expressing how our week's going, our concerns, our worries. And this sharing circle is why I'm here today, because I was shy. I didn't like talking in groups, ironically. And so I'm in this group. Everyone's shy. No one's cameras are on. No one's talking. And so they started cutting them short, right? And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm like, this is what, someone has to go first. Someone has to lead. Someone has to be like, hey, this is me. So I went in it, shy and quiet and looking down. And so I got in the sharing circle and I shared my journey. And everyone kind of appraised, everyone was like, praised me. And they're like, good job, man. And, thank you for coming on board. And then people started sharing in the circle. So then the circle started like actually becoming something where everyone just shared. And in that circle and in this apprentice program, I found my calling is to help my brothers and sisters to become successful, to use my story as not like, oh, look at me, more like, don't do what I did. You have opportunities, and this is the way to do it. So I've become a major advocate for this. I was one of the first apprentices to finish. There was a few before me, but we were fairly close. And I continue to still to join the sharing circles, even though I'm not an apprentice anymore, giving advice, and it's been amazing. So it's like a second family to me. This program is not just anything. This program is a part of me. I genuinely love this program and everyone that contributes to it, and I owe them everything. And because of this program, I got into therapy. It's been 4 or 5 years now, and I'm finally in a place where I'm healed. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm just content. And because of this program, my children don't know anything about trauma at all. I have 3 beautiful boys. I have one that's 16 days old. I'm currently on parental leave. 16 days old. I have a 4-year-old, almost 5. That's my river. That's the one that changed me, made me who I am today. And I have a 2-year-old. And they're beautiful boys. They're content. They're happy. They're the kind of boys that are, they have manners and everyone praises us and they say you're an amazing dad. And my kids come up to me and kiss me and they're like, we love you, daddy. You're a good daddy. And let's get me in the fields. So this program has changed my life and it changed my kids' lives. And I'm proud. I'm very proud. And so it does make a difference and it does change. And we do change. And without opportunities like this, maybe I didn't go to therapy. Maybe I didn't get clean and sober. Maybe now we have 3 more kids that are going to carry the generational trauma. But I'm proud to say that it stopped with me. And this opportunity has changed my son's lives and my wife's life. So, and now they're already dreaming big, and they can't even relate to my upbringing and my life. And so when they ask me, can I talk and anything to recognize this program and everyone working in it, I can't stop, and I won't stop. So. I've went way over my time. Sorry, guys, but yeah.
Well, I've asked the next people. They're letting you go a little bit, but we can wrap it up. Yeah. I'd just like to say, like Corey, Jane, Val, thank you so much for sharing your stories. I think if you go back and look in the chat, you've had an impact, and certainly me. I'm tearing up at the moment now as well. So on that, thank you very much.